Hello everyone, this is Anubrati Devnath, a trainee under Lexis & Company for the month of June. So as you have already watched the title below, what this video is all gonna be about. So let's get started. So the basic term or what the basic Google says about res judicata, the meaning of it is a matter that has been adjudicated by a competent court and therefore may not be pursued further by the same parties. So in simple terms, it means when a case or when a suit that has been filed and the particular court has given the judgment, the same court will not proceed with the same case without any change until and unless its special occasion arrives. It can be that you have to appeal or you have to again file a suit in some other courts or higher courts or lower courts, any other courts you want, but that has to be filed. With the same time, you can't play the role of, or you can't both stand on the same boat, stand on two different boats. Means you can't have a court, you can't listen to get the verdict of a court, a lower court and the higher court as well. So a case that has been already judged or which has got verdict will not hence further get the other verdict or different verdict, means it has been judged. So this Latin term is very much important in the civil procedure code, as well as criminal, but it's more in, but the section provides or the basic thing is in the civil procedure code. So let me give you the two basic instructions or two basic things of it. What is res judicata? So whatever, suppose someone wants to file a suit against you. So what's the process? Or you are willing to file a suit against anyone. So what's the process? So this topic or this video will be continuing on this explanation of res judicata. So let's come to the brief history and origin of res judicata. So res judicata. So basically the brief history of it is it has evolved from the English common law, and the common law system has been derived from the overriding concept of judicial consistency. Now these are okay. The parties involved in the case may file the suit against just to harass the reputation of opposite party and may do to get compensation twice. So you can file a suit just to get compensation twice, but that doesn't happen. But that's not the law. So the basic origin of it is res judicata in Hindus or in India was actually named as Purva Nyaya. Now this was always a Hindu law and also a former judgment by Muslim jurists as well. Now according to Hindu law, it said that the countries of the Commonwealth and the European continent have accepted that once the matter has been brought to trial once, it must not be tried again. The basic meaning of it. So the principle of res judicata means according to Hindu law, it said the principle of res judicata is once a court has rendered a verdict in a civil trial, it cannot be changed by another court except there are very specific conditions, as I said above or earlier. Now what's the basic meaning? Let's come to the meaning. So res judicata means subject matter. Res means subject matter. So res judicata, two different words will make the meaning. Res means subject matter and judicata means adjudicated. Now together they both makes meaning in a law as matter adjudicated. Now in simpler words, if I say that means what has been judged, means what has been judged, obviously it's a final verdict or it's a final sentence or the conclusion of your case. Now you can't have a second conclusion on the same question because you already got the answers of it. That's what res judicata claims, that when you get answers of your what you want or what's your problem, you get the answer or solution of it, You can't get another solution according to your wish, because the solution the person or the prescribed authority has given you, he has been giving you or given you the verdict according to what you need, not what you want. So that's what it is. Now let's come to some examples of res judicatia. I'll just say it in simple words. A sued B as he didn't pay rent. Now B pleaded for the lessening of the rent on the ground as the area of the land was less than the mentioned on the lease. The court found that the area was greater than shown in the lease. The area was excess, and the principles of res judicatia will not be applied, because what you have shown, because the landowner has already made a fraud by showing that the area is less, and so he needs he can get whatever he wants or whatever the thing is wanted. But the tenant tried to put the thing into action, his problem into action, and now the case has resolved. Now the case has gone into some other directions. So in a case, a new lawsuit was filed in which the defendants requested that the court dismiss the lawsuit with a plea of res judicatia. She was barred from bringing a claim of res judicatia because her previous claim was dismissed for fraud. The court said that the defense of res judicatia must be proved by evidence. Now let's come to the prerequisites of res judicatia. Means what res judicatia includes: 1. A judicial decision by proficient court or tribunal. 2. Final and binding decisions. 3. Any decision made on the merits. 4. A fair hearing. And 5th is earlier decision, right or wrong, is not relevant, because right or wrong is according to the law, not according to you who you are getting, means the person who are getting the verdict. So the principle of res judicatia is simple in one word: one that has been filed cannot be filed again. That's it. So there is not so much of it. Now let's come to a case study of res judicatia. So it says that section 11, it's already in the CPC I told. So section 11 of the CPC talks about res judicatia. Now section 11 of CPC incorporates the doctrine of res judicatia, also known as the rule of conclusiveness of judgment. Now the doctrine of res judicatia has been explained in the case of Satyadhan Ghoshal versus Diorjin Devi. The judgment of the court was delivered by Das Gupta J. An appeal was made by landlords who attended a decree for ejectment against the tenants, who were Diorjin Devi and her minor son. However, they have not been yet able to get possession in execution. Soon after the decree was made, an application was made by the tenant under section 28 of the Calcutta Tika Tenancy Act and alleged that they were the Tika tenants. Now this application was resisted by the landlords, saying that they were not Tika tenants within the meaning of the act. So the tenant moved to the High Court of the Calcutta under the CPC. So the court applied the principle of res judicatia to achieve the finality in litigation. The result came that the original court as well as the higher court can proceed the any future litigation on the basis of that the previous decision was correct. So if any court thinks that the previous decision was correct according to what it is saying, then it can go on. There should not be any other verdict, like they can say it's same. So what we have finally understood, that the conclusion of my video will be what we have understood from res judicatia are the principles of doctrine of res judicatia. 1. That no person should be disputed twice for the same case or same reason. 2. It is the state that decides there should be an end to an litigation. Means it's the state, not you. As I am telling, it's not what you want, it's what you need. Like what the verdict is giving or what the verdict says is what you need. What's your case need? Third is a judicial decision must be accepted as the correct decision. Means the judicial decision is obviously a final decision and it's a correct because it has been judged by a judiciary or the judge. Thank you for watching this video.